AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Oh!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Mute. So. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We are locked, loaded, jam-packed, ready to go. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Hey.
It's hump day.
We're humping on a week 1 Wednesday.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's a day where RC returns to AFR. Let's go!
It's hump day.
Let's go! 12 minutes from right now. Okay.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
RC will be here. We got Bourbon Dictionary with Santa Calandro. We got Todd McClure and Kevin Falk in studio together in 1 hour.
It's hump day.
30 years since they brung back the Magic.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
30 years since they beat Auburn 12-6. 30 years since they were both freshmen that year.
It's hump day.
Ah. They're also pretty good at offensive line and running the football play, and LSU stunk at that last year, so how can they be better? Those two guys will answer that question.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Russ Mitchell! Got a bunch of messages this week.
It's hump day.
Hey, Scone.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
When's Russ coming back? Last week.
It's hump day.
He was here last week.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And he'll be here again this week. And next week.
It's hump day.
And every week subsequent as long as they're playing college football.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's get cranking up, y'all. We got a lot to do today. Fired up, steam rolling toward LSU, Clemson, and week 1 in college football. We got actual real games that count tomorrow. A full slate. Not many good games, but a full slate nonetheless on Thursday. But let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Garrett Nussmeier met with reporters on Tuesday, and a year ago, my one biggest question about Garrett Nussmeier, the way I answered it when everybody would ask as Nuss was replacing Jaden Daniels, I said, look, I've said this so many times, like it's committed to memory. So, look, if you go to Central Casting, you need a quarterback. It looks a lot like Nuss. He's tall. He's got a big arm. He can make all the throws. He's got the moxie. He's the son of a coach, the smarts, everything you want. He's got all that stuff. The one thing he doesn't have is experience. And we're going to see how that works out. He's going to have to go get it. And last year, he got it. He started 13 games for LSU. The Tigers went 9-4. Nuss threw for 4,000 yards. He's preseason first-team All-SEC by the coaches this year. He is right there in the top 3 of the preseason Heisman odds. He's wearing the number 18 jersey for LSU. And Nuss, when he met with reporters, indirectly talked about that experience because it gives him an opportunity to go back and to critique himself from what he saw a year ago.
Just having a full season last year to be able to study and go through and make corrections on, that was kind of huge for me this offseason. Before last year, I was watching other guys do it and trying to learn from them, but having the opportunity to actually watch myself and correct myself on things like technique and also schematically, it was huge.
I believe him completely wholeheartedly there. It is one thing when you're preparing to play and you're watching your opponent or you're watching practice highlights or you're watching other quarterbacks that have run the system. It's different when you're watching yourself. When you can watch yourself and self-evaluate, that can be invaluable. And hopefully that will be the case for Garrett Nussmeier. Now, I and many, all of us, quite honestly, have talked about LSU's offensive line and the need for this line to improve from a year ago and the ability of LSU to run the football. I would go so far as to say that when the game is over, Saturday night or Sunday morning, and you look at the box score, look at one line in the box score. It's LSU's rushing offense. If LSU runs the ball 23 times for 68 yards, they will lose. Period. If LSU runs 34 times for 184 yards, they will win. I think it is that binary. So LSU's got to run the football. They're going to have to do it behind a brand new offensive line. 5 new starters for LSU going on the road to Clemson. And Garrett Nussmeier was asked about that daunting task.
I'm fully confident in those guys. They've done an unbelievable job stepping up, and Braylon has done an unbelievable job being the driving force of that unit. Being the center, it's almost like playing quarterback, right? You take charge and you take control of that group, and you got to communicate things and be loud and do different things. And so I think he's done an unbelievable job in leading those guys, and I think all the young guys who have had the opportunities to grow into their roles have done an awesome job, from spring to now. And so, this isn't just something that's been started the last 4 weeks. We've been building on this for the last 6 months.
Who's the first guy I mentioned? He's asked a question about the offensive line. Who's the first guy I mentioned? Braylon Moore. Remember when Joe Sloan met with reporters and I asked Joe a very open-ended question? I said, Joe, how would you assess your offensive line through, at that point they were either 2 or 3 weeks in camp. I said through 2-3 weeks in camp. How would you assess your offensive line open-ended to see which direction he went? First guy I mentioned, Braylon Moore. I don't think that's by coincidence. It was so interesting that in spring, we saw Braylon Moore and DJ Chester rotating a bunch at center. And you can do that in spring. You can try guys in a lot of different spots and get guys a lot of reps, and it's really, that's what that's for, to know what your pole position is going to be when you open up fall camp. Well, the first day of fall camp, Braylon Moore was playing center. Brian Kelly met with reporters after the first day of fall camp and declaratively stated after one day of fall camp that Braylon Moore was the center. You want to know how valuable that is? A year ago, the weakest link on your offensive line was DJ Chester. It doesn't mean he's your worst player or is a bad player. I think DJ Chester's a very good player. He's a giant human that can move bodies. He was just out of position. Now you have a dude that when you watch him, I don't think throughout all the fall camp practices we watch, I don't believe I charted a single errant snap by Braylon Moore. I did by the others, by Chester, by Augustus, by Brett Bordelon. I did chart errant snaps from those guys. I have to check my notes all the way through, but I don't remember charting a single errant snap by Braylon Moore. When we go watch the pass rush drill, he's outstanding. His low center of gravity, his base, his ability to use his hands, get up quickly. Like you can just tell. Actually, the guy that's going to be in studio with us a little while, Todd McClure, very reminiscent. Dudes that aren't overly big, low to the ground, great center of gravity, great balance, great ability to keep their defender in front of them. Like that gives you such a tremendous degree of confidence knowing straight up the gut, you have this pillar in the middle of that offensive line and you can build out from there. It's a giant challenge for Braylon Moore this weekend, but having him in place is super significant. One more from Garrett Nussmeier, who did react to getting the number 18 jersey, which was awarded over the weekend.
To have that responsibility, that honor, it's amazing. I'm very grateful and very thankful that I was selected to wear that number. And, I hope to live up to the standard. And I can think about, when I was a freshman, one of the first guys I saw wear 18 was Damone Clark. And, that's what I think of when I think of 18 is how he interacted. He took me under his wing a little bit as a freshman. I played a decent amount early on there. And so, he was one of the guys that felt like always lifted me up and always gave me words of encouragement and kept me going. And so I feel like whenever I want to be 18, I feel like almost kind of want to be like him a little bit. So it's an honor. I'm super grateful.
There's a piece up at ESPN.com where anonymous coaches talk about every quarterback in the Power Four. Of Garrett Nussmeier, an SEC coach, said, quote, Garrett is a really talented quarterback. He's obviously going to take a really good step second year as a starter, too. A defensive coordinator said, quote, he's in the top 2 or 3 in the whole country without question. We've got to affect him somehow. Garrett Nussmeier was awesome a year ago. Can he go from awesome to otherworldly in his 5th season? That challenge starts Saturday at Clemson. All right, it's after further review. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. You're making the road trip to Clemson. Make sure you got plenty of ice cold Bud Light for your tailgate. If you're going to be watching at a sports bar, wherever it may be, make sure you order plenty of ice cold Bud Light. You're going to be at your house. Make sure you're having a home gate watch party. Make sure you get to your favorite local retailer and grab plenty of ice cold Bud Light in the officially licensed LSU Bud Light can or aluminum bottle. They're white to honor LSU wearing white jerseys at home. That great tradition. It's Bud Light. Our friends over at Mockler, great LSU partners, great community partners for the better part of 4 decades. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We'll knock out a break. Ryan Clark makes his return to AFR. We'll get RC's take on LSU Clemson. I would love to know his thoughts specifically on the safety play, which we've talked a ton about. We'll do that next on AFR.
After further review.
Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, Seaganeer Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. And y'all, it is getting close to deer season, and at Clegg's, it's a wonderful time of year because when you walk into Clegg's, you will see buckbusters. You will see mobucks. You will see deer corn. You will see rice bran. You will see all the things. Bring on them little deer on it. Boom! And then scone feasts. That's what I'm talking about. You shoot them, I eat them. Clegg's Nursery can help you do it. With mobucks, buckbusters, deer corn, rice bran, you're filling up those deer feeders, those plots. Make sure you get by and see our friends at Clegg's Nursery. You can tell. The calendar, the seasons, the time are changing when Clegg's is starting to get in all the buckbusters and all those other great products. So check out our friends at Clegg's Nursery. Plant your fall vegetable gardens, your fall bedding plants. They got them all right now at Clegg's Nursery.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here. It is a. Are you calling? All right, we're trying to get in touch with RC. Saints had a. So Ryan Clark said to join us here. Said to join us here in just a quick second. Forgive me. I am. That's why. Nope, that's not why. I apologize. I'm looking at something here at LouisianaSports.net, and I don't see. Muse, I need you to grab something. Just talk or play something real quick, or read a liner, please. I'm sorry. Just read a liner or do something real quick.
Yeah, no, I got you. All right, here we go. It's happening in Louisiana sports. You know where you'll find it? LouisianaSports.net. From the New Orleans Saints and LSU to SEC rivalries, recruiting buzz, and sports betting headlines. Like Otter Locks. 2-in-1 night for the Otter last night. We've got the stories that matter. You check it out now at LouisianaSports.net. And hey, while you're there, support the businesses that support our team. All you have to do, click the Our Partners tab at LouisianaSports.net, and you discover more from the local businesses backing your favorite shows. AFR, OTB, The Hunt Palmer Show, Live at Lunch. All of them there. Find the content you crave, minus the things that make you rant and rave.
I'm sorry, was that actually in the script?
That was actually in the script. I mean, that's fantastic.
Look at our guy's CV.
I love that. And it's all courtesy of our partners at LouisianaSports.net.
Okay, Muse is going to call Ryan Clark. Supposed to have RC with us right now. Not answering the phone. We'll see if we can get connected there. Looking forward to the convo with RC. Kevin Falk, Todd McClure there in studio next hour. Saints are back on the practice field today. This is sort of like, remember, this is the sort of the bonus week. The team gets, because they eliminated the fourth week of the preseason, and then added the week to the end of the season. So like the Super Bowl is a week later now with week 17 or week 8, 17 game, week 18. So everything just moved back a week from the first Sunday in February to the second, the Super Bowl. So they added on the back end instead of the front. So every team has this off week. So they get two sort of bonus practices this week before teams get into game week next week. So today, Tuesday, was one of the quote-unquote bonus practices for the New Orleans Saints. And Ross Jackson was there. He's writing a practice report right now for LouisianaSports.net. What we can tell you is the attendance report. Alontae Taylor and Trevor Penning, most notably, continue to be absent. So Taylor, who of course played boundary corner for the Saints a year ago, struggled in that role as boundary corner a year ago after all the injuries, was sort of forced there. A better safety nickel role than he is a boundary corner. But the Saints, of course, also have Kool-Aid McKinstry and then Isaac Yadam really are their best options on the outside, maybe a young guy like Quincy Riley. But Alontae Taylor is still coming back from a groin injury. And then Trevor Penning remains out with, he's got a toe. I don't know if did you know that Trevor Penning had a toe?
No, just one?
Just one.
Just the one toe.
He's got a toe.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we know what foot?
I don't.
Okay, but he's got a toe.
Either on the left or the right.
Yeah.
He's got a toe.
Kind of like a 50-50 deal there.
Yeah, Trevor Penning. He's out with a toe. So when Trevor Penning is back from the toe, he'll be back. But the others that were absent, Cedric Wilson, Julian Blackman, Jordan Howden, Jack Stoll, the tight end. Also Christian Boyd out with a hand injury. So Kellen Moore is going to meet with reporters after practice today. And we'll see if we get any update on those guys. But Alontae Taylor, Trevor Penning continue to be the names to watch, the two starters that are out presently for the New Orleans Saints. All right, after further review, we're glad you're hanging out with us here. You can email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get involved in the show. The other sort of newsworthy item today from New Orleans is that the Saints have added Trey Palmer, former LSU Tiger Trey Palmer, who, of course, left LSU, went to Auburn, then to Nebraska, ultimately was playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As a matter of fact, last year in training camp, Todd Bowles, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, had this to say. I'm sorry, this was this year. This is this year's training camp. Todd Bowles had this to say about Palmer in this year's training camp.
Well, the biggest thing was he flashed in the game. You know, you can flash in practice because it's kind of, you can't touch most of the guys and they're running free most of the time. But he flashed in the game, and he flashed more, not just offense, but special teams as well. So that gave me a lot of confidence and a look at him more. And he's a guy that's very noticeable right now.
Trey Palmer's entering his third year in the NFL. His previous two seasons, both with Tampa Bay, he's played in 32 games. He started 11 times. He's got 51 catches for 557 yards, 4 touchdowns. But as you heard Todd Bowles say there, he's not only a guy that can give you some help in the pass game, but a guy that would make the team as a specialist. So Trey Palmer did famously return a kickoff for a touchdown at LSU, ending their 40-year drought that Richard Condon loved to complain about without a kickoff return for a touchdown in Tiger Stadium. But the interesting part of this is that New Orleans, in their 53-man roster, did keep 6 receivers, and that's uncommon. You don't typically you'll keep 5, and then you'll see a 6th if there's someone that can help you on special teams. Like most notably, the guy we talked about all the time was remember Courtney Roby, who played for the New Orleans Saints, wore number 15. Well, Roby made the team as a quote-unquote receiver, but he was your punt returner, your kickoff returner, and your gunner on special teams. So he made it as a specialist, but he was the 6th receiver that they kept because he really could help you in special teams. When you look at the initial 53, the Saints kept Olave, Shaheed, Cooks. Those are the 3 we knew. They kept Devon Vele, who they just traded for. Of course they did. But they also kept Mason Tipton and Cedric Wilson on the active roster. That's a bit odd because I don't know that Wilson, maybe Tipton, but I don't know that Wilson necessarily is helping you a bunch on special teams. So, like we always say, it's the first 53. It's not the final 53. There's always going to be roster moves and movement. As far as the practice squad So far, the names that we know the Saints are adding to the practice squad, according to Nick Underhill, the Saints are adding defensive tackle Jonah Williams. Cat Terrell reported that Hunter Deckers has been added to the practice squad. So interesting there, along with Jake Haener. So Haener cleared waivers. So Haener and Deckers are on the Saints practice squad. Nephi Sewell has been added to the practice squad. Safety Terrell Burgess, cornerback Dallas Beenum, tight end Trayton Welch. That's one who many thought would have a really good opportunity to make the 53-man roster as that final tight end, that third tight end, but it went to Maliki Matavau. In any event, Trayton Welch on the practice squad, and kicker Charlie Smith on the practice squad as well. So Jack Stoll and Cedric Wilson also headed to the Saints practice squad after the initial 53 was announced. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Love telling you about our friends over at South Point Volkswagen because, man, for, more than a dozen years now, between me and Erica, and then if you extended our entire family, probably bought a dozen vehicles from South Point Volkswagen. My mom drives a Volkswagen. My dad drives a Volkswagen. My cousin Steven drives a Volkswagen. Michael Kenny drives a Volkswagen. We've become a Volkswagen family because once you go drive one, you'll understand. You know, all the Volkswagen's advertising is generally centered around having fun because there's a fun culture around driving V-dubs. But the reality is, in addition to that, which is awesome, you're getting the great German engineering. You're getting the 9 different IIHS top safety picks, the highest safety designation a vehicle can get. So you get the style, the feel, the performance of luxury without the cost. And, of course, they're manufactured right here in the good old US of A as well. They're always giving you great deals. Labor Day savings are upon us. 4.9% for 2025 Taos right now at South Point Volkswagen. You can lease a brand new Volkswagen Tiguan S for $299 a month. Go check them out over at South Point Volkswagen. And they always have a $500 bonus for military and first responders. It's the first responder military discount over at South Point Volkswagen, honoring our everyday heroes. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. One of the things, Muse, did you put up the poll yesterday about Sean Payton?
I did, yes. Let me find it.
Yeah, please do that, because as I was coming on air today, we were talking yesterday about, what's pretty obvious, what's going on with the organization right now with the New Orleans Saints. They're in full rebuild mode, and they continue to just shoot themselves in the foot with bad deals and trade deals and bad decisions. And whenever, near the end of the Sean Payton era, there were a lot of Saints fans, and if you're honest with yourself, you know who you are, and you'll put your hand in the air. But there were a lot of people who were ready for Sean Payton to be gone. Now, I can go check. Look, I can go check them Twitter mentions, man. Y'all know what they do when they find people's old tweets. I can find my Twitter mentions with y'all about Sean Payton. But some of y'all may not acknowledge it, but I said, how many of you would be willing to take Sean Payton back right now? And it was pretty much unanimous. Michael Moore, I'd take Sean Payton back so damn fast. I mean, Andrew Coburn, hell yeah, I'd take Sean Payton back. I mean, dozens and dozens of these came in. Carlos Collazo, take Sean Payton back? All caps, yes. Trent Ritchie, yes, I'd take Sean Payton back. Caleb Brinkley, I'd take Sean Payton back in a heartbeat. Club, take Sean Payton back? Yes. I mean, it's unanimous. Joseph Williams, Byron Merriweather, Craig Dugas. I mean, an endless list here of names I could read out of people saying, yes, they would want Sean Payton back. I told you yesterday that this was going to be an overwhelming Twitter poll. Muse, I'm going to guess this went north of 80% people saying yes. This is my guess. You're saying, though, by your reaction, I guess I'm wrong.
It was lower than that.
Cynical Twitter a-holes, I tell you what.
72.7% said yes. Yeah, but it was lower.
Yeah, it was close.
There's 30% who said no.
28%.
Yes. I don't know what they're doing with their life. That's
72,
crazy.
They're not Saints fans.
Obviously, yeah.
72% of people, more than 70-30, said they would take Sean Payton back. And if you go back to when Sean Payton left, how many people were ready for that era to end? How many people were ready to kick Sean Payton out? The thing that I'll repeat over and over again is this. The more time passes, the clearer it becomes that era was all Sean Payton. Drew Brees, yes, but Mickey Loomis had virtually nothing to do with that era. As time passes, time is not being kind to Mickey Loomis. By contrast, like when I talk about the 2019 LSU football team, I told you at the time, I said, history is going to be kind to that team because those guys are going to go on to the pros, have great careers, and you go, oh my God, Burrow and Jefferson and Chase and all these guys are on the same team. Yeah, they were. And clearly that's happening when you look back with the benefit of hindsight, but said it at the time. The opposite is true here for Mickey Loomis. The more time passes with Sean and Drew gone and Mickey Loomis driving the bus off a cliff, like it's very clear. And you can even look back and say, well, he's the one who traded for Breeze and hired Peyton. Sure. Sean Payton also wanted to go to Green Bay, and the only reason he landed in New Orleans is because Green Bay picked Mike McCarthy. And Drew Brees wanted to be in Miami, and the only reason he ended up in New Orleans is because Miami picked Dante Culpepper because they failed Drew Brees on a physical. It ain't like Mickey Loomis was out there like heave-ho, identifying, those are our guys, let's bring them in here. Sometimes you Forrest Gump your way into something. It looks like old Gum-smacking Mick did just that. All right, it's after further review. Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Apologies, man. We had RC booked. I don't know what happened there. We'll see if we can circle back with him. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. Little Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro here in 15 minutes from right now. Todd McClure and Kevin Falk in studio to start hour number 2, 30 minutes from now. Ton to do. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Our friends over at Action Industries, great community partners, have been for 43 years. Action Industries Incorporated, they like to say innovation in action. Action Industries is an industrial contractor. You got jobs you need done inside the fence, they can help you there over at Action Industries. ActionINDINC.com. That's the website if you want to learn more about all that they do. ActionINDINC.com. Yes, they offer fabrication shop services, pipe, structural steel, pressure vessels, which not everyone does. I've actually been over to their facility in Belrose and seen one of those pressure vessels that's being manufactured. It is so impressive, the size and scale and scope of that. But if you work in that industry, you already know that. It's Action Industries. Also, if you need additional resources on your mega projects due to skilled labor, they can supplement your projects. It's Action Industries. They're a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Action Industries, innovation in action.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Go around the SEC here in just a quick second. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Steamrolling toward the weekend, man. LSU and Clemson's nearly here. Got a full day of games on Thursday. Full night of games, I guess I should say, on Thursday. Missouri among the SEC teams that'll get it started off. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Our buddy Greg Lehman said, can you elaborate on Perkins' coverage abilities? Clemson Radio seems to think Klubnik is going to throw 45 times and target Perkins coverage due to his inability to effectively cover. Okay. I don't know that Harold Perkins' ability to cover is anywhere even remotely close to the forefront of the conversations that I've had or I think will be impactful on the game on Saturday. We did chart a lot of 7-on-7. Harold Perkins had an interception early in camp in 7-on-7. He baited Nussmeier into a throw that he intercepted right in the middle of the field. And a lot of the wide receiver DB drills, a lot of times he was covering Trades Green. So you want to talk about a giant mismatch for anybody, a 6'7" dude. And Perkins won his fair share of those. I mean, he could run with Green because Harold Perkins is a phenomenally freakish athlete. I'm looking at his Pro Football Focus coverage grades. As a freshman back in 2022, again, keep in mind, freshman linebacker was kind of playing the edge, then kind of out in space a little bit. His coverage grade that year was a 51.5. The low water mark was against A&M. The high water mark was a 62 against Tennessee. If we look to, obviously he didn't play a full season last year, but if we look to, say, 2023, that was the atrocious LSU defense. Harold Perkins' coverage grade in 2023 was an 81.1. It was actually Harold Perkins' interception against Missouri that changed that game, if you remember the game in Columbia, in Como, where LSU couldn't get a stop, and then before half, Perk came up with the big interception. It was the first stop LSU got in the game. So I don't know. I mean, last year, a limited sample size, Perkins' coverage grade, according to Pro Football Focus, was a 60.6. Again, he only played in 4 games. What dinged it was against South Carolina. He was at a 43.2, but 62 against USC, 65 against Nicholls, 70 against UCLA before the injury. Again, I don't look at Perkins in coverage as a liability. I don't even think that's the thing that you'd focus on. I think the way Harold Perkins is going to affect the game is the ability to defend in space. When I think about the plays he's made so far in fall camp that stand out in my mind, there was a tight end screened LSU ran to Bauer Sharp, and Perkins out in space shed the blocker and made a TFL. Like, those are the types of things that I feel like we've seen Harold Perkins do a lot and flash out in space. I just don't know that pass coverage is the place where I think that's effective. And if Cade Klubnik throws 45 times on Saturday, that's a recipe for disaster for Clemson. Now, I understand they're converting a receiver to running back, and they lost Phil Maffa, who was a 1,000-yard rusher a year ago. He's now in the NFL. And they got 4 starting offensive linemen returning, but LSU's got a pretty formidable defensive front 7, both with the Weeks brothers at linebacker, all that they added at defensive tackle, Dominic McKinley, a year older. It'll be fascinating to see how that matchup plays out. But, and again, I don't really give a rip what a Clemson radio person thinks that Clemson's game plan is going to be against Harold Perkins or whatever defensively. If Dabo Swinney was out there saying we feel like we're going to have to throw the ball to attack Harold Perkins, that's one thing. I would say more so the detriment at times that Perkins could be is as an undersized end if they were running right at him, which is often a way to defend against fast dudes on the edge. Don't let them go defend in space, run right at them and try to overpower them when they're light. That would be I think the target for Perkins, not pass coverage. By the way, tell the Clemson radio guy, Greg, that Perkins' pass coverage grade the last full season he played in 2023 was an 81. Radio guys are so dumb. Why would anybody listen to a radio guy? What do they know? Probably all just like old and bald and yell a lot, bad facial hair. Tell you what. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Supper Club, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Friends over at Supper Club are reminding you to dine with 9. Now, you can go there any night, but 9/9, September the 9th, Supper Club is teaming with the Joe Burrow Foundation to donate 9% of the proceeds from that night to the Joe Burrow Foundation. Pretty awesome thing they're doing. So if you're looking for any excuse to go to Supper Club is great. Birthdays, anniversaries, promotions, graduation, whatever. Game week, a day that ends in Y, except Sunday, Monday, because they're closed Sunday, Monday. But any day is a great day to get by Supper Club. But remember, mark it on your calendar. Maybe get reservations now. 9/9, September 9th, in honor of Joe Burrow's number 9. 9/9, September 9th, dine with 9. Now, Joe's going to be playing in the NFL. He's not going to be at Supper Club. But 9% of all proceeds on September 9th at Supper Club are going to the Joe Burrow Foundation. So please support if you can. And remember, dine in over at Supper Club. All right, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Tennessee Volunteers.
Josh Heupel has agreed to a long-term contract extension, keeping him on a rocky top through 2030. Salary remains, however, at $9 million a year, so he's tied with Drink as the 6th highest paid coach in the SEC. The deal does amend his buyout. If Josh Heupel is terminated before December of this year, which ain't going to happen, he'd be owed the full amount of his contract. The figure drops to 75% after that, and then subsequently further by $2 million each year over the following 2 years.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama defensive tackle Tim Keenan will undergo surgery and will miss multiple games. Brett McMurphy on 3, the first to report it. It's an ankle injury for Keenan that's going to keep him out now for multiple games. They do expect him to be back at some point during the 2025 season. Keenan played for in 13 games last season, 7.5 TFLs, 2.5 sacks for that Alabama defensive line.
Texas A&M!
Texas A&M running back Le'Veon Moss was having a great year before he was injured at South Carolina a season ago. Ahead of the opener against UTSA, Mike Elko says, clean bill of health for Le'Veon Moss. Quote, he's good to go, Elko said during his media availability. 700 yards and 10 touchdowns for Moss before the injury a year ago.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Jonel Aguero, expected to be Georgia's primary star defender, but there's been some injury rumors popping up. Kirby Smart set the record straight, said if you're referring to misinformation that came out from last night, Jonel is the star. He's fine, completely healthy, ready to go. 4-star recruit from 2023, set to start for the Bulldogs.
The Missouri Tigers.
Speaking of Eli Drinkwitz, explained the decision to split time between his two quarterbacks in the season opener against Central Arkansas. Bo Pribula and Sam Horn each will play a half. Pribula will get the first half, and then Horn will get the second half. Drink said there wasn't enough separation in camp to have a clear-cut starter. So, next evaluation, a live football game. They'll get it on Thursday against Central Arkansas.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas has named David Bowen the new director of player personnel. He was previously the assistant director of player personnel. He replaces Javon Hubbard, who left for a similar role at Auburn. He's also had stops at LSU, Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi State.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
And OU has landed 2026 defensive lineman Teron Richardson out of Virginia, the 18th member of Oklahoma's 2026 class, the number 433 overall recruit. He's a 3-star, the number 51 defensive lineman in the country. Okay, there you have that as around the SEC. We're presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Yes, they have ED treatments. Not just they have the pills, but not just pills. There's many different types of treatment if you tried the pills and they don't work, or you need something different. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Hormone replacement therapy, dozens of different peptides that could be life-changing for you. I personally am on NAD Plus and BPC 157. Highly recommend NAD Plus, great energy source, cellular optimization. BPC 157 for tissue repair, recovery. It's also derived from gastric juice. It's been known and statistically in studies proven to help people with gut issues. If you have gut issues, BPC 157 could be a magic elixir. Learn more. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Schedule that consultation. Go see Gabe and the team over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review. We'll knock out our final break of hour number 1. Come back. Taylor will be here for a little Bourbon Dictionary, talk some booze. Todd McClure, Kevin Falk, they are in studio together in 15 minutes from right now. We'll look forward to that. Russ Mitchell in hour 3. Ton to do. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, if you don't have a creative bone in your body, then just ask ChatGPT to help. Did you know ChatGPT can help you design your billboard for the Get Gordon billboard contest? How about that? Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, the 3rd annual Gordon McKernan billboard contest is live. Get creative. Design your billboard. You could win up to $2,000 in prizes, donation to a charity of your choice, and the opportunity to see your billboard or ChatGPT's billboard all over town. Let's get real. I don't know how to use clip art or Canva or any of that stuff. I don't have a creative design bone in my body. That's why we hire Paul and Cassie and all the talented people here that do all this graphics for us. Paul, you should do a billboard. Ooh, Paul, you could probably do it. Paul does all our YouTube thumbnails. I bet Paul could crush it. Let's go. What if you superimposed me on Gordon's body or Gordon's face on my body and then scream, billboard ideas. Get Gordon, get it done.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
Wrapping up hour number 1. Taylor Calandro, Wine and Spirits Director from Calandro's, joins us. Talk a little booze. Get your questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. How are you, dude?
Good. How are you, Matt?
Doing awesome, man. Football season is is nigh, which means I'll be opening up the brown water again really soon, man. What's new?
Yeah. It's hard to believe football's here. New, we got our THC license. So I'm glad Moose is there.
Moose, that a babe. All right.
Just a short drive
on,
to
Taylor.
work after work to get loaded.
It's
son.
right there, man.
Loaded.
Government Street location is right there, Muse. They got their THC. Look at that. As if,
I go home the
he
other way,
needed any
sorry.
more temptation.
So yeah, we got a THC license. We got a bunch of stuff. I've tried some of it, and I like it. I don't know if you've tried any THC seltzers or anything, but
No, nothing, no drinks or anything like that.
so I mean they're pretty mild. I mean I think they're pretty mild, but it's different than alcohol. I just find that it just mellows you out really.
So there's no alcohol in it?
No.
Okay.
Not definitely not. There's no way that ATC would allow alcohol and THC to be intermingled within one thing illegally, at least.
Okay.
At least to my knowledge.
For those that don't know, THC is one of the active ingredients in marijuana, which is what gives you the high. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's different molecules, and this is hemp-derived THC, so this is not the psychedelic THC. I think it's 9 or 8. I can't remember which molecule, but this is just the calming effect without the psychedelic high that you get from marijuana, allegedly. So, yeah, they're good. Especially if you're going to watch Saints football this year, I highly suggest to get in the THC seltzers. It's going to be a long year.
Whatever's going to help us get through it. We're going to get to questions. You can email, tweet, or text your questions for Taylor here in just a smidge. Hey, Friday, we'll be at Don Juan Cigar Bar, and the show is going to be sponsored by Pinhook Bourbon. Their master blender, I didn't realize, Sean lives in New Orleans, which is awesome. You're one of the first people to introduce me to Pinhook, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. What do you know or appreciate about that brand?
Well, first of all, I didn't know the master blender lived in New Orleans. That's news to me. Secondly, so yeah, the brand we've been carrying it for a long time. I don't know, it's been probably 10 years, close to 10 years. It was a lot smaller niche thing way back when. The first intro we got to it was the selling point was that they have a racehorse named after all their whiskeys.
Yes.
At the very beginning, I'm like, wow, this is cool. I mean, it was like 1 or 2 horses to track. Now they got a ton of them. That's just one of the niche things that they do. But the liquid they've done, they have been putting out for years is awesome. We've done a couple barrels with them.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we haven't done them in a while, but we did one the year that Zion got picked first overall.
Oh, I do remember. I had a bottle of that because you had the Zion label on it. I do remember that. It was yellow. It was yellow wax. I remember it. Yes.
So, and the funny thing is with that particular, Zion was only 18, 19 when he got drafted. There was a particular issue with putting a 19-year-old on an alcohol label that we didn't think about, or I didn't think about ahead of time, and his lawyers sent us a lovely letter. That's happened twice.
Love it.
The other one was the quarterback for LSU.
Which one?
The really good quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Number 9.
Yeah, I got.
Well,
it happens.
They're very aware.
They are, but when they figure out how small of fries we are, then they kind of backed off. But anyway, Pinhook's been good. The liquid they have is fantastic. For everything I've tried, rye and bourbon has been very good from them. So,
we got about a little more than a minute. Brett said, "Ask Taylor, will Calandra stock hold the Mayo's Respect Your Body beer?" I
gotta ask Abita about that, my Crescent Crown guy, because usually that is brewery only, and I don't know if they're going to put that out in distribution this year. I'm going to ask about that because I saw that they were doing that this week, so I'm going to ask about that.
Any other beers, RTDs, things that are in that people may want for Game Watch Tailgate?
That Ghost variant, I can't remember the name of it now. The Ghost variant, we still have some of that.
That's the double IPA?
Yeah, it's a double IPA.
I had that last week. It was pretty good.
It's fantastic. If you're into that big juice bomb type of beer, I mean, it had a little greenness too. It's been a few weeks since I had it, but it's a really good beer. And drinking Ghost, watching football is dangerous. Any kind of Ghost in the machine, because that stuff can creep up on you quickly. So
he is Taylor Calandro. Hey, come by Don Juan on Friday. We'll drink some Pinhook. We'll have a good one. We appreciate the time.
Absolutely. All right, Matt.
All right, we'll see you. That's Taylor Calandro. Hour 2 next.
AFR.
If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Told you before, Ben McDonald was the first pick in the Major League Draft. When he bought his hunting property, his first call was to First South Farm Credit. If it's good enough for the first pick of the MLB Draft, shouldn't your first call be to First South Farm Credit? You'll notice I'm punching first over and over again because, well, I want you to remember it. FirstSouthland.com. FirstSouthland.com. It is a great time of year before the new year as we're moving here into fall to talk to one of their lenders. You wonder why you should call a lender at First South Farm Credit if you're thinking of buying land, because for more than 100 years, that's all they've done. They're experts at doing one thing, helping Louisianians buy land. So go to FirstSouthland.com, FirstSouthland.com.